Web3 Reviews, thank you for being with us. Today, it is Friday, February 28th, and we're going to be talking about XRP in the crypto market. Let's go.
Remember that none of this is financial advice.
Starting this off, straight from Smqke, Mr. Man posted the SEC is reviewing a proposal to create a trust that holds XRP. They are deciding if XRP should be classified as a security and if there are enough protections to prevent market manipulations. The decision is based on legal tests and rules from the past cases, including the SEC versus the Ripple Labs. This is so dumb. Not that Smqke and Mr. Man are posting this. If the SEC is actually still considering labeling XRP a security after Judge Torres gave the decision that it wasn't a security, that was years ago. At this point, that was what felt like years ago. At least 1 year ago, we got that ruling that XRP wasn't a security. The lawsuit's still not over, and they're still talking about whether it's a security. Come on. Big O says this shit is scheduled manipulation. See you in 2026. Wow, that would be painful. Could you imagine 2026 rolls around and XRP sitting at $2 still? I like what Tim says here. People keep winging about dropping the Ripple case. The case was ruled on. It's been over. The SEC filed an irrelevant appeal, which is going nowhere. Nothing magic is going to happen when the appeal gets dropped. Here we have new administration crypto task force telling the SEC to clarify secondary sales exactly as the Ripple lawyer stated. It's over, but the SEC is going to take whatever time it needs to formalize that reasoning into the SEC policy going forward. The SEC sucks, and they shouldn't even be a thing. Who are they protecting? Themselves? Their friends? You know, they're not protecting us, you know? They didn't get FTX. They didn't get Bernie Madoff. They let these people operate, and you're telling me they didn't know what they were up to? Come on. That is absolute BS. Smqke says that Trump's crypto task force has met with lawyers this week as early as 2/24 to discuss dismissing the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. When will it end? Free Ripple. All right? Trump previously pardoned Kodak Black when he was in office. Now he needs to pardon Ripple and XRP because we've been in that crypto jail for too long. And it's all systems a go once we're let out. It is all systems a go. So Smqke's research is unwavering, showing that XRP is going to be a utility token for Ripple. Ripple is not going to be ditching XRP just because they have a stable coin or because they can operate as a messenger. That's what Swift does. Swift isn't actually touching any money, right? It's just the messaging system. I think that XRP is going to be pivotal in the next role of the financial system. USA is going to have our own version of Swift. It's going to be much more badass because it's not just going to be a messenger from the 1960s. That's an old piece of technology. We're talking about a brand new piece of technology. That's what we're on about. This quote here. Ripple's business is predicated on a belief that demand for XRP will increase, resulting in price appreciation. This is documented from Ripple's website. There's going to be organic demand, it says. We're all about natural and organics here, baby. I don't want none of that pesticide. But XRP at the moment, sitting at $2.10. I implore you, if you're feeling upset, to zoom out. Go to that 1 year chart and just take a look and say, oh yeah, we're doing pretty good. That's right, we were 58 cents within the last calendar year. What was I upset about again? Meanwhile, Bitcoin is sitting at 81K. We do the same thing. We say, let's press the 1 year chart. Bitcoin is up 36% within the last 365 days. Flare sitting at 0.16 cents. 1 year chart. Flare is actually down. So Flare this time 365 days ago was sitting at 4.6 cents. I saw an interesting post that said Flare's been in development for a good 4 to 6 years. The token's been out for 2 years. We have a lot of stuff going right, but we're not seeing much go right for the price. What is it going to take for the price to do well? Is it going to be F assets? Is it going to be utility driven? Is it going to be speculative? What's it going to take? And we got some good replies there from a few of the FTSOs. Saying, hey, don't worry about price. Things are being built. It reminds me of the old Amazon analogy, which we've used a lot of times in the XRP ecosystem over the years. Ripple always said that they were trying to be the Amazon of payments. And what did Amazon do? They were an online bookstore. Once they mastered being an online bookstore, they branched out and they started selling other stuff. Well, there was a time in the late 90s, early 2000s, the dot-com crash happened and Amazon took a hit just like everybody else. Their stock price was down 90%. A lot of people sold, but if you held, you were a genius. If you held until now, all that time later, you're looked at like a genius. But they asked Jeff Bezos what he thought about the whole thing. He said something like, you know, the stock price may be down, but we're up ourselves. Things are getting better. Things are improving. We have more customers buying stuff on our website. We have more business customers signing up to sell stuff on our website. And that spoke to me about Ripple, and it speaks to me about Flare here. If you can't zoom out and not even look at the price and say, what's the technology doing? Then you're going to be in trouble because there are tokens that are shit, which have pumped. Look at Fartcoin. So you're telling me that your basis of value is only based on price appreciation? It's kind of a way to fuck your brain. And a lot of people think that market manipulation is really real here. I can't say whether it is or isn't. And the thing is, if you're a big player and you have a giant short or a giant long, you're going to want to protect that. Whether you do it with market makers or you're doing it with a token which can be manipulated just on your own for buying and selling, I can't really speak to it. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's what's going on. And with that being said, the longer the base, the higher the jump. All right, we see Flora. It hasn't even had really a long base. It's been having 2 cups. I see a cup and a handle here, which I'm no TA guy by any means. I like to show you guys some other people's TA. But a cup and a handle is a basic one for good things to come. Better than that straight line up where you're sitting at the top. When you look at that all-time chart for Bitcoin, we are sitting at the top, teetering, looking like we're about to take a nice sharp fall. Don't catch that falling knife, friends. You don't want any of that action. I've been there. I was there in the fires of Mordor when the ring was made 3,000 years ago. Okay, Gandalf? I was there. And it takes a lot to be that guy who's not greedy and can throw the ring back in the flame. It takes a hobbit to say life in the Shire is better. Why do I need to hold Bitcoin to 1 million? I'd rather own 35,000 XRP than 1 Bitcoin. I really would. Seriously, even if you got 30,000 XRP for your 1 Bitcoin, you would consider yourself lucky. An XRP, it's 10 bucks, that's 300 grand. I don't think that Bitcoin's going to 300 grand anytime soon. Michael Saylor hopes it does. Michael Saylor's looking for buyers. He's out there speaking to Amazon, looking for somebody to buy Bitcoin. It's not looking good. You know, Michael Saylor was the biggest loser of the .com era. And now he's getting that humiliation ritual, if they will, where they're putting in front of everyone again and say, hey, you get to keep your status, but we're going to totally use you as this whipping post of what's to come. Kind of like Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff was so hard against the Bitcoin bug because he was such a gold guy. And I don't know whether he's accepted the pill or not, but if he has, he's too late. He's too late to the party. I know people who are all in on Bitcoin still, and I'm just like, man, maybe you won't ever see it, and that's okay. You know, like we can't all make that trip. But the best thing I ever did was stop caring about Bitcoin and ETH, stop being tribalistic about tokens, and just look for the best tech. We're looking at this Gala Games post right here. Gala Games is a plugged-in player. Eric Schiermeier just spoke the other day in front of a big group of politicians. He was the only person there who spoke about crypto. And he spoke about the Gala chain. He spoke about using Gala chain, implementing it to help make America healthy again. Maybe as a way of auditing the Fed and keeping everything on chain. I really don't know. There's going to be a lot of shoes which work. There's not going to be one shoe fits all in terms of a blockchain which encapsulates every use case needed across the globe. And it's not going to be stable coins or CBDCs which end up being the majority of the workhorse of this ecosystem and industry. All right? It's going to be utility tokens. It's going to be entertainment tokens. It's going to be supply chain tracking tokens. Flora is doing supply chain tracking for weed companies. I think that's incredibly badass. I want to know what goes into the weed. I don't want to be smoking pesticide. I think Osmi AI is super crucial. Osmi AI. You know, as much as I love Grok and ChatGPT, you know, whoever wins gets to write history. We know that. They get to tell the side that they remember. They won. They get the spoils. And that's what's happening here with AI. And I think AI on the blockchain is super important. I think that doing a community nodes and running nodes to decentralize this AI is super important. I don't want a woke AI protecting people and billionaires and ideas. I mean, AI is the new Google. It's the new way of fact checking. People aren't really going that extra mile in fact checking the fact checker. I've asked ChatGPT this multiple times about what it thinks is going to happen to XRP and what it thinks about the inception of XRP. It'll tell you all sorts of lies all the time. It does not know the true history until you press it. Then it does. It'll say, oh, of course, you're right. You're right, my mistake. So if you're just taking AI at face value, you're gonna be in trouble. You're gonna have to learn to seed through the bullshit, find what's real, and be able to question it and say, are you sure that doesn't sound right? It's not reliable. You might be able to use it as some sort of baseline or some way to bounce ideas off of, but it can't be your end-all be-all. And you gotta think like your own brain. Seriously, even if you had a robot who could do everything for you, would you want it to? You're gonna be the one who has to make the decisions. Life is worth living. It's not worth giving the reins off to the AI. With that being said, Gala is sitting at 0.19 for a Gala token. You can currently buy a founder's node for $2,900 on NFT Harbor. NFT Harbor is a platform where you can buy and sell Gala NFTs on the third party. So if I owned a Gala NFT, which I do, I can sell it on NFT Harbor. I've never sold an NFT on NFT Harbor, but I have bought quite a few NFTs. It's really smooth. Go check it out. Gala is 1.9 pennies. Flare is 1.6 pennies. Bitcoin's 82K, ranging right there in the 80s. We'll see what it does. Do we have another little pump for Bitcoin? We got another 10% and it's back to 90K? I don't know. And I'm not too concerned. I think that alt season's about to start any minute. Any minute. I'm waiting on the gong to sound. This little timeout is done. We're going to experience the bull run a little longer. When it happens, you know the market's going to shift so fast. I got a buddy who was telling me, he said, man, people are just feeling beaten down. I really think everyone's sentiment's really low. I was like, yeah, I mean, for some, it's always going to be that way. For some, it never changes. I had a buddy when XRP first pumped. I hit him up saying, man, XRP. He said, I don't have enough. What do you think he's saying now? $2. Probably like, oh, I missed it. I'm not going to buy more. Set a buy order on Uphold for every 2 weeks and then just forget and go live your life. It's a beautiful way to play if you can just forget and live your life. And I've heard Robert and people say, never be on that team that says I'm never going to sell. But there's nothing wrong with being that guy who says, I'm okay with taking 2 years off. Do I need this times 5 now? If it goes from XRP 2 to 10? Yeah, that's great. But if you're new to the market, maybe you don't give a shit. Maybe you're that long-term holder who believes. I know that's me. I've been here 7 years. I believe. I certainly am not going to be selling the majority of my bag at $10. Now I'm going to be taking some profit for sure so I can feel good. So my journey all hasn't been for nothing. Because you got to take some money on the way up. All right? You have to. Or else you kick yourself in moments like these where you have a month time out. Your money was all imaginary. It was just a number on a screen. You didn't actually make it real and tangible. And you kick yourself. And that's a shit feeling. I've been there. I have round tripped. And I vowed I wasn't going to round trip this cycle. And I don't think this cycle is done. But we're going through some pain. And in crypto, there's always some more pain. So I can't tell you when things are going to turn around. But I know that they eventually will. Stay strong, friends. Zach with Web3 Reviews. Thank you for being with us. Until next time.